Hey guys, Monkey here. I'm here today to review Transformers Power of the Primes, BattleTrap, and Battle Slash. These two figures were released separately and combined to form BattleTrap, a character that has gotten some recent appearances or got a recent appearance in the Rise of the Beast film a few years ago, which is one of the main reasons why I want to get my hands on these guys again, since I used to own a copy of this before me being a kid damaged them. This was $50 for both of these. It really sucked, I won't lie. This guy's the expensive one. It's an absolute pain to trying to find this guy anywhere. This guy, oh, everyone's selling him. But this guy, ooh, it's a real pain. But, yeah. So, let's get into it. We'll go over Road Trap's vehicle mode first. Road Trap is this, excuse me. He's kind of this little Hummer or kind of Jeep vehicle. You know, very bulky, heavy duty, tow winch in the front. Nice silver paint on the bumper and grille. Nice yellow headlights with the lovely red windows. The hood's well put together, you know, splits. The top of it's clearly the robot chest, but honestly I kind of don't mind. The back of the vehicle is where I have the problems though, you know. It's all weird and clunky looking. So, yeah. You know, you can very obviously see the hips. That becomes BattleTrap's thighs and hip joints. Then, obviously, back of the head of Road Trap. The undersides are actually pretty well put together. You know, besides the head, everything else is well nice. Oh, my God. Everything else looks well and dandy. The tires are not mushroom pegs. They're I'm not sure what the name is for these actually, but they're not pinned. But he rolls pretty well actually. You know, I'd say one of the few figures that rolls well without pinned wheels. You know, we have a few here and there. Ironhide, for example. You know, he rolls really well too. But yeah, with that being said, I think that's about it for Road Trap's vehicle mode. So now we get into Battle Slash. Battle Slash is a kind of bone white helicopter. He looks lovely as ever. Propeller spins pretty well. Collides a little bit with the shoulders here, so if you don't want that, you kind of want to lift it up a little bit, like so. There you go. So you want to have some clearance between the parts. Yeah, there you go. See, it's not hitting anything. The metallic blue that they used on the cockpit is really nice. I love the purple Decepticon logo that they've painted on this. Or not painted, but printed. Along with the paint on the chests, or on the sides of the chest, they look real nice. The gap in the front for Road Trap's head is pretty ugly, though, I won't lie. But that's not too bad. You know, there's been worse. Underside's pretty nice. You know, we have Battle Slash's chest down there. That's okay. I do like the deep shade, but we'll go into that when we get it to him. Oh yeah, that reminds me. These tabs here and here, they're meant for Headmasters or Titan Masters. One of the two. I know they go by both names, I believe. But yeah, you could put them on there, and they kind of just sit there. So yeah. With that being said, we'll get into size comparisons now. So, for our smallest figure in my collection, MPH Warpath, compared to these two. As you can see, absolutely tiny. But now to official figures. Core Class Wheelie, compared to Legends Class Battle Slash and Road Trap. Let's see. Deluxe Class Wasp and Bumblebee, or Waspinator and Bumblebee, compared to Road Trap and Battle Slash. Deluxe Class Magnius, compared to them. Voyager Class Ironhide, and let's get them out of here. Trashmaster. Leader Class Scourge. There you go. I think that puts into scale. You know, let's go back a few figures. I want to make sure we have a proper sense of scale. They're about the same size. I need to go at this angle more when I do size comparisons. Sorry about that. But, yeah. And finally, Commander Class Skyfire. Oh, I want that turn. Now let's fold the wing in so we can see him better. As you can see, he nearly dwarfs these guys. And he will really dwarf them once we get them into robot mode. So yeah. With that all being said, we are now going to transformation. We'll start off with road trap since he's the simplest one. First thing you want to do, flip up this section here, rotate the head around. And now we come to the underside, pull up these heel spurs. Oh, there you go. Pull out the arms, pull them forward, bring them down, and straighten them out. Or you could just flip it forward instead. Both systems work. Then you want to hinge the entire chest section upwards and connect it all in, like so. Then you want to pull the windows up here, fold it down, and collapse them in. Just like that. Oh yeah, and separate the legs. Don't want to forget that. And there we have road trap. Put them off to the side for now. Now we go into... sorry, I had to pop my neck. My posture is really bad whenever I do these videos. It's like a shrimp, you know. I'm keeled over trying to... just making sure these are on camera as well as possible. But yeah, first step you want to do, pull this piece up and back. Then you want to untab this little section just a little bit, or yeah, just enough so they untab from this section here. Pull up, then split. Before we start working on the arms, you're going to want to bring this whole assembly, or split this whole assembly, bring it down, have them connect right there. Rotate the thighs, or rotate the entire lower legs, and fold up the back rotor blades into the shins. The next step, you want to flip around this shoulder assembly, untap the arm from the side, then hinge this entire mechanism up. Same thing for the other side. And finally, you're going to want to pull this assembly forward, flip up Battle Slash's head, and collapse it all back. And that's Battle Slash and Road Trap. Now I gotta get the other guys transformed for size comparisons. See you all in a little bit. Alright, I'm back. I honestly can't remember what I was saying. I've been like 10 minutes transforming these guys. All worth it though, these guys are fun. I say it's been a while since I've gotten a chance to transform them. But yeah. So with that all being said, let's go into our individual figures, then size comparison, or wait, no, articulation, size comparison, transformation to combination, then size comparison and articulation again. Because, you know, why not, right? So yeah, first figure to go over is our boy Road Trap. Road Trap was the more difficult one to obtain out of these two. He is, first of all, just really chunky. He is like an absolute unit of a guy. Second of all, the original Duocons here, or the original Duocon BattleTrap here, was, they didn't have individual robot modes. You know, Skytread, my God, sorry. He works the same as this guy. But with Skytread, he didn't have individual robot modes. That's because the original set of figures didn't have individual robot modes. You know, the G1 guys, the original G1 BattleTrap and Skytread, they didn't have individual robots. There was just the two vehicles that combine that make one robot. And now that I'm thinking about it, would Overlord technically be a Duocon as well? Huh. Alright, that's not part of what we're here to do, though. So, yeah. BattleTrap. Road Trap. Battle Slash Road Trap. Right. Okay. Road Trap has a very generic kind of face. It's like one of them generic grunt soldiers, you know? Or it's like something you see on a generic background guy. And honestly, that's what these guys kind of are when they're not combined. And I guess that's what BattleTrap kind of just is, too. You know, no one really expected to get a new BattleTrap for a while. It's not like he's amazingly known. For a long while before the movies, you know, he had I think a BotCon figure. It was a repaint and I think retool of either Sandstorm or Springer. I think it might have been Springer. Then the original figure, and I think that's about it. Yeah. Then we got the Power of the Primes, and most recently, BattleTrap for Rise of the Beast, which that figure sucks. Great robot mode. Transformation process and the alt mode sucks, though. They don't hold on together. Reason why I know this, my buddy has a copy of BattleTrap, and that guy's an absolute pain to transform. We have to remove parts to make sure he even gets close. But, yeah. Back to who we are actually here for. Road Trap. He's wide, chunky. Honestly, pretty well put together, though. I love how he looks. There's just something endearing about this design, which is why I think this guy probably sold much better than Battle Slash here. Because out of the two, first of all, blue's just a cooler color. But out of the two, I feel like Road Trap just... he looks more fun, you know? Like, you don't expect an absolute unit of a figure to be, you know, for sale. You know, it's not every day you get just a brick. It's just a giant brick of a torso, two little legs and arms sticking out, then this tiny little head coming out of this big old torso. And I think that's one thing that might be a downside for some people. The proportions, they're alright, but they can be a little off for some people. Which, I mean, I get it. I understand. It happens. So, yeah. The chest paint is lovely. You can see where the bumper and grill ends up for robot mode here. Ends up right there. The Decepticon logo and the white just line printing on the chest is really nice, actually. I really like how that looks. And I love how the tail lights end up on the shoulders here, along with how the tires integrate into the arms. It's nice. The outside of the arm here looks lovely with the cylinder look with the little circular attachment. The ball-jointed arms, you know, loose, unfortunately, so yeah. He has the usual panel gauntlet thing here. Then, obviously, the black hands, you know. Now we come back to the torso. We have little yellow highlights. I'm assuming are from the headlights here, or maybe just some additional parts. I'm not sure. Then we have the black belt here, which I honestly like. I like these little arrows. There's a few arrows. There's a lot of arrows on this guy's design that I'm looking at. Well, not a lot, but there's 5. You know, we have the 2 little white ones here, the 2 going on other directions on his belt, then the big blue one. What's up with this guy and arrows? But yeah, the legs look nice. I love the little mechanical details and the line and the panel lining. The shins. It's just the front of the truck. There's not much I haven't said already about the truck mode. Or a Jeep, Hummer, something. Either way, there's not much I haven't already said about this vehicle. So, yeah. So now we go into Battle Slash. Battle Slash kind of just copies a lot of what I just said from this guy over to him. Battle Slash is lovely. The sculpt work is honestly nice. I do love the deep purple that they've used on his chest and the little arrows on his shoulders. I love how that looks. The propeller blade not being able to come off kind of sucks though, because his card art. Actually, let me see if I can find that. One second. Oh shit. Alrighty, I have returned. It is now 9:08 since I first started recording at, I think, 6:50. We had to leave for some family photos, so I had to stop the video where it was. You all probably didn't care, but thought you all should know. I did find the cards and the instructions. First of all, these are their instructions. They're wrinkled because I had them folded away, and also because when they're stored in the Legends class boxes, they'd be folded like this. And they'd be underneath the figures in the clamshell packaging. Because I think that's how they're packed. I think they're packed in clamshell. Yeah, I think so. But I also found the cards. Battle Slash here is shown holding this propeller. So yeah, and we have BattleTrap here with a much cooler looking head than what he actually had. So yeah, on the back, Prima Battle Slash. Wait a minute, Battle Slash is from the same lineage from Prima? And BattleTrap is apparently from the same lineage as Alchemist. That's lovely. Let's see. Inspires allies with strength, bravery, or inspires allies with bravery and strength beyond his size. Feels more like a Micronus thing. Develops a chemical that sabotages enemy systems. That seems like a Mixmaster thing. Alrighty, but yeah, those were the cards. So yeah, with that being said, let's get back into Battle Slash. We were going over the arms and how I don't like how the propeller is not removable. But can't solve everything. Yeah, now we come down to the thighs. They have this really nice sculpt work here, which we will go over when we combine them more. Then, rest of the legs, nice mechanical detail. The blue feet are pretty cool looking, actually. I like that. So, yeah. We'll go into articulation with BattleTrap first. We have a swivel at the head, full 360. No side to side because it's a mushroom peg, which is quite unfortunate. So I'm going to turn the main light on. So I want you guys to be able to see what I'm talking about. Get over here, Kestis. I need that lightsaber for a pointer. There you go. No. Yeah, as you can see, it's a mushroom peg in there. We're switching that around. More noticeable. There you go. Yeah, mushroom peg. With a hole, Ooh. But, yeah. There's ball joints at the shoulders. So, full 360. Kind of. Gets a little stuck there. There's a 360 swivel at the joint. Arm can go out that far, down that far, out that far, and, like I said earlier, full 360. 360 rotation at the elbow. And can bend just a little past 90, which is pretty convenient. Or not convenient, but nice. There's no waist swivel because of the whole splitting mechanic. So yeah. There's ball joints at the thighs though, so legs can go out that far, in that far, back that far, out that far. There's a swivel at the knee because it's a ball joint, because this will become our ankles soon. Yeah, full 360. Just slightly past 90. We have a hinge at his ankle, then a hinge at the other section of the ankle. So that's technically a toe bend, which is nice. It's not every day you get a toe bend. But with that being said, that is everything for BattleTrap. And now we go into Battle Slash. Battle Slash has the same amount of articulation at the head, with the hinge being able to give him the presence that he's looking up. If you untab it all, you can get him looking down or up, which for an aerial transformer I think would be a necessity. There's a ball joint at the arm that can go up that far, down that far, cannot go back at all. Arm can go up that far and up that far if you use the hinge. And you could get a butterfly joint if you untab this, and you can have it come forward. There is a bend at the elbow that goes inward. There's a swivel at the elbow because it's a ball joint and stops at 90 exact. There is no waist swivel because of transformation. Other arm has a propeller blade, full 360. Back to the waist, no swivel. Ball joint at the thigh, full 360 rotation. Legs can go out that far and in that far. Slight swivel because it's a ball joint. Knee swivel. And knees stop just under 90. And no ankle pivot. With that being said, size comparison time. There we go. Just got to adjust the camera for you guys. Alright. So, and what fell? What was that? Oh, it was my toothpaste. Alrighty. So, smallest transformer I have. Oh, I dropped them. Lovely. MPH Warpath from the third-party companies. Right there. Core class Wheelie. Deluxe class Bumblebee and Waspinator. Bumblebee is just as tall as them, and Waspinator is slightly taller than them. Deluxe class Skullgrin and Magnius. Voyager class Ironhide and Voyager class Trashmaster. Leader class Scourge. And finally, Commander class. Let's just pull a few of those off. No! Skullgrin has fallen to his demise. Lovely. And finally, Commander class Jetfire. Why do I have him? He's the true epitome of Commander. He was the very first Commander, and that's what I assume Commander's scale at its limit is. So yeah, that is our Commander class scaling. Let's just pull them out. Oh. Get all those little goobers out of here. Now we go back to the top view. Alright, so what's next? We combine. That's what's next. So next thing we do, straighten out the legs, keep them together, shift this whole assembly down. Like so. Basically just act as if you're transforming them back to vehicle mode, because that's basically just what it is. Alrighty, bring that back up. Then we want to bring these to the back, like so. And to finish it off, you just want to split everything. And there we go. A little bit of adjustment. There we go. We got ourselves the legs. Alright, next step. Come over to Battle Slash, split the middle, flip in his head, pull the arms out, flip that up, flip his head up, and bam, there's Battle Slash's head. Bring up this entire shoulder assembly, just like that. We've got the arms, flip that down. Finally, come here, do this, do that, tap it together, and bam! Battle Slash is transformed into the top half of BattleTrap, Road Trap the bottom half of BattleTrap, and combine them together, and now we have BattleTrap. Probably one of my most favorite figures in my collection because of how unique this gimmick is. You know, Skytread, is the same thing, just without the individual robot modes. But I think the individual robot modes is what added so much to this. It made this feel real special. Because if you just want one guy, you can still get just one guy. Because that's exactly what it is. It's just one guy. But if you want to get the two guys to make one guy, then you can also do that. So yeah, BattleTrap. He unfortunately doesn't have an accessory exclusive to him, because I don't think they ever released this guy as just these two. Which is kind of disappointing. I feel like they should have. Give him the additional accessories to fill out the alt modes, and then to give him a weapon, because for the longest while, let me go grab it, I've been using the extra gun that G-Axis came with. It broke a little bit on the sides, unfortunately. But yeah, so I've been using G-Axis's, I've been using his gun, his extra gun, for BattleTrap. Every time I have him displayed, he has this gun. Because of the fact that he feels like a grunt. It feels like he'd use this type of gun. It's like, it feels like basic infantry, Like, he busts down the door, starts firing, But, yeah. He never came with an accessory of his own, though, so yeah, BattleTrap is not fully complete in that sense, but still a wonderful figure, and one I think you guys should get your hands on, unless there's rumors of a new one. If there's rumors of a new one, try and go for that. This guy's great. He honestly is. But if they ever make a new one, and it's like Skytread, I would say get that. Which reminds me, Skytread. I don't have them, but they're compatible. You could switch their legs and torsos around, which I love. I love when they do stuff like that, where it still works with the older figures. It's just, it's the same love I feel whenever I see a Titans Return mold return. You know, with Top Spin and Twin Twist, seeing those guys come back was nice. Then seeing Slag Slinger come back, that's cool. Horrible, I don't think we've gotten that guy yet, but it's nice seeing the new Headmaster. Same with Squeeze Play, I believe. And then that leaves Carnivac, I think was the other guy's name. The one that came with Iron Fist, or nowadays Fistatron. So yeah, it's nice seeing Headmasters still make their runarounds. I love those guys. It's great seeing them. Also, I am so in love with this new 4-pack that's coming up with the Classic Optimus as Ultra Magnus, with Horrible, with Nemesis Animated Prime, and then Bumper. I don't think anyone had it on their bingo card that we'd get a new Bumper. That happened out of a pure accident, didn't it? You know, it was Cliff Jumper's vehicle with Bumblebee's colors with a completely different head that neither of them used. And yeah, you know, we just got Bumper. I was like, whoa! It's cool, you know? When I first learned about it, that was awesome. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I don't know why I'm saying that in this video. I should probably make a news video going over what we've learned so far. But yeah, with that being said, you know, well, there's not much to say about the detail of this guy. It's basically just all the good stuff from Battle Slash and Road Trap put together. Literally making BattleTrap. So we'll go into articulation, size comparison, and finishing thoughts. There's a head swivel, full 360. It's on a mushroom peg. You can look down that far if you use the hinge that they give you. Arms can go up that far, or out that far as well, if you utilize this hinge, which clips in pretty well. So yeah, there's a swivel with the ball joint from the thighs. So yeah, full 360. Arm goes out that far, as I've already stated. There's a swivel at the elbow. Bends just under 90, just barely reaching 90. There's a waist swivel, or actually there's an ab crunch, so you can get that type of action out of this. He can go way past. He can't even suck his own, you know what. So yeah. There's a waist swivel. Not full 360. It collides with the propeller blade. I say it collides with the propeller blade. Which is kind of why I wish you could remove it, but yeah. There's a swivel though. Not full 360, unfortunately, because of it. It collides with all the stuff here. If you move it forward, you get a full 360 though. Use that ab crunch there. You can definitely get a full 360 out of that. Legs can go back that far, forward that far, and out that far. So he definitely still has great articulation. There's a I'm activating all these other joints by accident. There's a thigh swivel, full 360, which is wonderful. I love myself a good thigh swivel. There's a knee bend. That's about 90. And there is some ankle movement here, which is lovely. There's also a swivel coming from Road Trap, as always. That's if I quit. I think, I'll explain that in my final thoughts after this. But, yeah, with that being said, I apologize if I'm going, a lot. As you guys know, I don't do scripts. Scripts. I don't script my videos, basically. And because of that, my videos aren't going to be the greatest. I don't ever want them to be the greatest. I just want them to be genuine. You know, that's the main reason why I started my channel. Be as genuine as possible. Which, you know, has its upsides and downsides. Because it also makes me sound a lot more unprofessional. Since I am. You know, I'm a small channel. No one's going to be perfect. So yeah. Size comparisons. MPH, Warpath. 86 Bumblebee. 86 Wheelie. Age of the Primes, Waspinator. Deluxe Class, Magnius. Voyager Class, Trashmaster. Leader Class, Scourge. And finally, Commander Class, Jetfire. And, yeah, that's about your size comparisons. From all over the spectrums. I'm not doing leader class figures as in the Dinobots, though. Those guys, they're bigger than your average leaders. Yeah, finishing thoughts. Figure's wonderful. Has its downsides, though. You know, with the legs assembly, a lot of stuff here comes off very easily. Not in the sense that it's going to break off, but in the sense that it's some stuff untabs a lot. Like, I bend this knee, this entire arm assembly comes off. You're much better just kind of having extra chunky legs, basically. You know, like, this is going to look weird. It's going to look really weird. But you're better off doing that than risking all this just untabbing and getting in the way. Or, if you don't mind doing this, popping it off its ball joint and just having this hinge in. Which leaves the leg much cleaner, but also means you have a ball joint to worry about. Which is why you could also just flip it in, and it still doesn't collide with anything. The clearance on this is great. But yeah, personal preference and stuff. Let's get that pegged back in. And then, you know, the propeller back here. It's on just a simple peg system, though, so if you really want to, you could remove it. It does take a little bit, but you can. Which, you know, it's always nice to have the option. Let's see. I don't want to take it off, but let's see how far I can shift this up. Yeah, not far enough to... Wait! Yes! No! Yes! Okay. We got a waist swivel now. You know, I've had this figure for 2 years, and I just now start fiddling around with it in that way. Okay. But, yeah. With that all being said, if you guys get a chance to get this guy for under 30, or for under like 70, or like under 50, yeah, if you guys get a chance to get these for under 50, go for it, because these are honestly great figures. You know, they're definitely dated for their time, but they are still wonderful. If you ever see a good deal on them, shoot for them, because they're great. With that all being said, I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye, my monkeys. Ho, 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 ho.